This episode is brought to you by Temptations Cat Treats. Your cat will come running for the perfectly irresistible Temptations Creamy Puree and Temptations Lickable Spoon Cat Treats. The best time to feed lickable cat treats to your cat is anytime. Feed by hand for a playful moment, in a bowl for a creamy treat, or as a topper to make mealtime fun. Visit temptationstreats.com to learn more.
Hi there. Thank you for listening to Raising Me. I'm Adrienne Stein, a mom of 3, and worked as a journalist for a very long time, so always curious and always asking questions. And that's really what we're doing here. We find the pros for the things we experience as parents and then get their expert advice. Today, we are talking about getting great pictures of your family, whether it's with the phone in your pocket or with a pro. And a big thank you to our sponsor, Maine Health, for helping us to bring these great guests to you. I don't know about you, but I absolutely love capturing everyday moments to look back on. And in some ways, just kind of trying to relive that feeling in that moment. It might actually be to the point of obsession, as I have way more pictures in my phone than I even realized. And now it is just too daunting of a task to even try to sort through them all. But I love the idea of regular family professional photo sessions, though rarely take the time to do them. And it's been years, actually. Frankly, a lot of it just has to do with feeling somewhat overwhelmed by it. The when, the where, the outfits, the cooperation, right? That too. Today we are talking with a professional photographer. She is just awesome. Kate Michaud shoots weddings and family portraits and is so passionate about marking memories. So she's sharing her pro tips for getting that perfect shot, whether you're using your phone in the living room or, I don't know, just maybe even the backyard, or you are planning for a family shoot, and how to take the anxiety out of those situations. Check it out. Kate, I am so excited to have you here because I think in another life, maybe I should have been a photographer. Though I think that's what so many of us feel like these days because everybody has a phone or a camera on their phone in their hand, in their pocket, wherever it is. So
yeah,
it's a fun pastime. It's something we all do, but getting it right can be so challenging. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into photography? What do you love about it?
Yeah. I started out in school in sciences, had to take an art mode, and fell into photography. That film photography class just it really did me in.
What was it that spoke to you about it?
There was something about knowing that I had captured something,
like a moment in time.
A moment in time, and then I went and I could literally bring it back to life in the dark room. It was I was like, that is the coolest thing I have seen science do. Tell me more. So I fell into it in that sense, the darkroom side. And then once I got into the art of it, of photojournalism and capturing truth and connection, I was just let's go. I loved it.
Do you have a sort of a specialty that you really enjoy more than another?
Oh, that's such a great one. I started out mostly in weddings.
Oh.
And then
I always thought that would be really fun. A lot of pressure. Talk about capturing a moment. But
yeah, it's a lot of pressure, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of connection, a lot of joy that you just ride that energy through the day. And it's just it's such an honor to be a part of. Yeah. And then 3.5 years ago, I became an aunt. And now I have 3 nieces, and they really got me back into the family photography part. They grow so fast.
Who are you telling?
I know, right? Yeah. And I couldn't believe it. So it really just put it into a different perspective for me once they were part of my world. And then I was like, let's photograph everything.
Let's photograph everything. Yeah, I have so many questions because, as we talked about right before we started this conversation, just out of curiosity, I looked on my phone to see how many images I have on my phone. Do I say this out loud? Should I be embarrassed?
I think you go for it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm just want to make sure I have this number. Do I say that? I have 46,189 items.
Yeah.
Is there a recovery program for us? But here's the thing. Like, I do feel that pressure. Like, I don't want to forget anything in all these moments. And, you have the phone in your hand, right? And this camera that we didn't have, when I was growing up, you got the film developed, right?
Yeah, it's so accessible now.
It's so
in
accessible.
Comparison.
And you just snap it. If it's no good, you can delete it. But clearly I have an issue with deleting. So, for parents out there, let's like start with the basics. What are some things that we should keep in mind just for those everyday moments?
Yeah.
What are some key things we should keep in mind when it comes to getting a great shot of our kids?
Yeah. One of my favorite things when you're photographing kids inside, if you have daylight, like use it. It is the greatest gift. But a lot of times, if you have a lot of overhead lights, lamps on, and things like that, they all cast different colors, and you're going to notice it in your photos. And a lot of times, people, when they leave them all on, they are like, "Why doesn't my photo look this, like another one, you know what I mean, that has a clean, clear light?" So usually coming down to one light source and daylight is
really?
So yeah. Oh, so if you ever notice like your car selfies are fantastic.
Yeah, with all the daylight.
All that daylight.
Yeah. So almost like putting the kids in front of a window and turning off the overhead lights for some simple ones at home.
Just for simple ones at home. Yeah, absolutely. It is just a nice, easy, simple way to know that you're going to get like crisp, beautifully lit photos of your kids.
Do you find that, I mean, maybe because you're a pro and you know if you're getting a good one or not, but like I will take a picture, like say my son's doing something cute. I'll snap like 25 pictures, snap, and think, I'll go through those later. I never do. But like what makes a good photo? Because I'm like, that's cute. No, that's cute. Well, maybe I should keep that one. Maybe I'll delete that one. No, I'm not going to delete that one. I don't want to get rid of it. Like, what are you looking for in framing? Because there are subtleties in pictures. You're like, wow, that is a good picture.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And I, even though professionally I am a photographer, I also take so many on my phone too of my nieces. And I do a yearly photo book. And I like at the end of the month, I'm going through the like, one of my nieces doing like Itsy Bitsy Spider. And I'm like, wow, which one do I pick for the book? So I get that. I know that when I'm looking at one of those photos, I am looking for the picture to be clear if it can be. You're looking for that, like, is the light 3 different colors of yellow? And then the one that honestly like makes you feel the moment the most is another big one is like, does it bring you back right there?
Like doing a gut check. Like when you're swiping through them and like, like having that moment like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, you're like, that one's so good. Yeah. Like listening to yourself of like, wow, like, because they're for you. They're your treasures for your family. So like, it does matter which ones you pick, because it's like the one that you want to represent that time.
But I think what you're saying is it's personal. It doesn't have to be a perfect frame. It doesn't have to be perfect lighting. What is it that really strikes? Tapping into that. And I know that moment, right? That I'm like, oh my gosh, heart that picture. But then I go to the next one, I'm like, oh, well, heart that one too, kind of thing. But
yeah, I think listening to your gut of like, wow, I love that one. Because you're going to feel that again when you look at it again later.
What is your take on portrait mode, just out of curiosity? Because I will say this.
Yeah.
Like, I really like portrait mode because it kind of blurs the background and it makes everybody, the people stand out. But, like, my teenager is like, ugh, do not use portrait mode. Is it okay?
It's so funny you say that because I just went to a photo conference in San Diego and I went to use it and they were like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I was
what
like,
is that?
What
Why
do
not?
you mean? And they're like, oh no, people really don't use portrait mode. And I was like, apparently the times are changed.
Okay.
But I also love like that bokeh look that has the background is all blurred
it's
out.
Soft.
It is. It really puts a focus on what you're taking a photo of. So I think that's like, you can do that in camera. I personally love portrait mode. It does take a second. It's a little bit longer, at least I find on mine device to take it. So sometimes people will get frustrated that like the moment passed. But I love to use it for some things, I feel like maybe just don't live on it.
Yeah.
Like only.
How do you pick the ones to frame? Because, again, let's go back to the 46,000 whatever that are on mine, but I definitely do not have those all printed out and framed. So, what would be your advice to really finding those ones that are worth a frame, worth a spot on the wall, and kind of sorting through it that way?
Yeah, I know that can be a tough one. And I think that one's another that's like really deeply personal in like what you want to be showing and what it makes you feel when you see it. The only other thing that I like to play into picking images is the story, is if it is telling a story in itself. Like a lot of times my favorite images, there may be like 3 things going on in it. The dog is asleep in the back and then someone's in the front playing, and they're just like those ones where I'm just like,
it's capturing a moment.
Yeah, like it's like have you heard the like term glimmers?
No.
When you it's like a little moment where it's just like pure joy, that just something,
and it takes you back.
That just like, oh, yes.
I've thought about that too, because when I have scrolled back, say 10,000 deep in my, my catalog, and it's just like a sort of a nothing photo of just like one of the kids running through the yard. Like you would not frame it, but like you can almost feel that moment and seeing the dog. And you even think, I think, well, gosh, in 5 or 10 years from now, that's really going to just be a moment in time where I remember sitting outside on a sunny day and, Jack runs through and I just, snap it real quick.
Yeah. Well, and in worst case, print it all.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Yes. It's going to be great for the storage in the house. At least this way it's digital.
Right.
I think too about social media, and my idea of what goes on social is different than my teenagers. Like, like they actually like blurry things. Have you noticed this? What is the deal with that?
The imperfect right now has been so
dig into that. What does that mean? Why?
I think that if my personal thought would be, we have hit a point where it has gotten like fairly easy to take a great photo. We have so much accessible to us. So now we're kind of digging into this next stage of how do we make it one step past a great photo and like make it very personal, very customized. Yeah, like very just like only you can make it. We hear a lot about like the happy accident photo, where it wasn't really intentional, but like you love it. Yeah, it's it does. It's got a movement or something.
But they'll take pictures of like the back of somebody's head or like this random like plate.
It's like so like a photo diary, right? It's very eclectic. Yes, I know, and I think it's so interesting to see how generations are putting themselves out into the world of like, here's my world, because you're right, it is like
that's what it is. It's capturing their world versus them.
Yeah.
So like I have seen teenagers Instagram posts, because I have my daughter and then follow some of her friends, and where the whole post will just be random shots of different items or parts of a scenery, where it's not really showing people.
Yeah.
So it's capturing the world versus the people, which is an interesting, in some respects, I'd rather have that on social media than some of the other things. So, let's talk about that. When it comes time, like these are all great, right? But there is a difference when it comes to really sitting down and having a professional do your photography, do a family portrait. So, for one, what's kind of a sweet spot that you have found? And, I it's all personal, but like that, how often is advantageous to do that with your family?
Nothing feels better than feeling your best, which is why Maine Health continues to provide Northern New England with the best network of people, programs, and resources working to help you be your healthiest self. And by doing so, we're creating different paths and giving you options in personal wellness. That's health and care in harmony. That's Maine Health. To learn more, go to mainehealth.org/harmony.
A lot of folks approach me to do portraits when there's some sort of landmark that has come up, whether it is a birthday or I love yearly personally, just because changes happen so fast. But I also know that schedules get so busy for folks, especially as the kids get older, that it can be so hard to. But I would say like every 2, every 3, like. But I also love photos to be an excuse to like experience something with your family. So if you can tie it with that and make it like, oh, we're gonna go do something fun and get some photos.
It's funny because as I was thinking about that, I was like, if I came to my husband with an every year photo shoot,
right?
You're like, what? It's like he got an iPhone. No, I mean, we
100% hear you.
Do try to do it somewhat regular, not as much as I would like because of that whole schedule and the kids and all the things.
Yeah.
And just the fact that like it feels sometimes overwhelming.
Absolutely.
To do it because you got to think about the outfits, the place, setting the right scene. Is everybody going to be having a good day? Like all the pieces around it that sometimes it's easier like, I'll just get something on my iPhone. But, kind of help us through that process. Like, are there sort of some tricks to decide, are we doing portraits outside? Are we doing them inside?
Mm-hmm.
What should we coordinate a little bit with color? Should we all be in matching t-shirts? Help us alleviate some of that anxiety that even if it's just in the background of a professional photo session and what that could look like.
I know. I love that.
Just first start with outfits. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you make it look like you're not all matchy, but you fit together?
Yeah. So I would, if you've got an idea of a scene, it's always good color-wise to start with one color and then build off of that. A complementary color is great. Whites and creams, always great. Yeah. I personally, and it's just who I am, I love natural colors that you would find in everyday nature. I feel like they just go well with everyone. I think that there's no right or wrong way.
Yep.
For sure. Comfort, key.
Yeah.
But then that next step is if you have someone who like, maybe in your family is really into this one dress right now, like what,
But that marks a moment.
It does.
Right?
It marks a moment. So, maybe you're coordinating around that, or you are going to the beach. So you all want to stand out and you're all wearing shades of pink or yellow. And I would lean heavy on your photographer because that is something they should be giving you help with.
Yeah.
Offering, saying, I am looking for a coastal sort of session, a vibe. What would you suggest? What, do you have locations? Do you have recommendations to go into? And I also, Pinterest is not going to get old for me.
Yeah, true.
I love to see inspiration there. And also clothing layers, go for days.
I always think when in doubt, go for the classics too.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
White, navy, khaki, cream,
you can't go wrong.
It's a safe choice, but it is a safe choice.
But it is a safe choice,
yeah.
But you could do that and then add in just one fun complementary color. Exactly. That is going to play throughout. I think that that's a really fun way to also express your family. I've also had clients who are really into like gardening. So they'll have their family all come to their home and let's play in the garden and like that kind of thing.
I mean, that's kind of,
so then clothes really.
So you'd want to be in like jeans or t-shirt.
Exactly, casual.
So I think that is something, just as important as the outfits. And maybe it really is starting with the location and the feel you want.
Yeah.
Formal, informal, indoor, outdoor.
Right.
How do you come up with the best strategy so you're not ruminating over, should we go to a park? Should we go to a beach? Should we go to the woods? Should we go to a studio?
It's such a great one. If you were to approach it on, hey, we have an afternoon like family date day, what would be on that list? Are there any places that you've been saying forever, like, I would love to go visit that beach. I would love to, we should go do the paths here. I would use that and run with that so that it is an experience, but then also you're getting beautiful portraits along the way. Because a location-wise, you can do something so fun. Maybe your family's really into roller skating. I don't know.
That could be fun.
That could probably be a little wild. I think I would need help.
2-camera shoot.
You're right.
What about, some people are more photogenic and more comfortable in front of the camera than others. And no
100%.
matter what, it's just feels awkward. They might be the cutest kid or beautiful person in the world, but
Absolutely.
Breaking through what feels awkward,
Absolutely.
whether you're in a professional setting or you're just at home and taking a group shot. How do you break through that awkward smile and what to do with your arms. Where do
Yes.
I put my leg out?
I hear it so much because I am purposefully behind the camera.
Mhm.
Because as soon as I'm in front, I'm like, what am I supposed to do? So I know I go a little bit extra in making people feel like I've got you, like you're great, like do you? But if you are in that kind of moment, I always it sounds like counterproductive, but waiting. But just giving yourself like this feels uncomfortable. Like put the camera down and like wait, give yourself a second of like, this is just us hanging out. You know, whether it is like you guys are playing on the beach with a professional or you're at home, I think, and I can't speak for all photographers, but we want to give you everyone smiling, looking at the camera photo.
Mhm.
We would like to give you several, actually, you know, in many different locations. That'd be great. But sometimes it's just like, it's hard to get everyone in one place, especially if you've got really little ones. So kind of letting that energy play and get the little the connections and the little moments. It's nice when you have like a third party so that you guys can all interact and they forget that there's cameras happening. But when it's just y'all, if you can like get down on their level and have fun with it, and it's not about like, I want to get a cheese smile, you'll get that in between one. And that's, I feel like, always better.
How do you get little kids to cooperate? Like, you know, that age where they don't listen to anything.
Anything.
Thank you.
It is a journey.
Yeah.
I start off like real strong of like, we're going to get one quick photo, one family photo. We're going to start off strong, get like your safe basic one. And then it is straight playing. I am not kidding. And then it's like, they are the art directors and I am the assistant. So if they want to go and jump on the bed, like we're going to go jump on the bed.
I think that would be even at home too, like just not forcing it.
Yeah, because you can there's magic in all the moments, you know, if you are looking for them. You know, even if it's just like changing the direction that you're standing so that you can see the light better. Like your child's standing in that sunbeam and you can find it if you're watching, I think.
On the flip side, how do you get the best picture from the moody teenager?
Wow,
This is not speaking from experience at all. Continue.
Yes, absolutely. I would say that honestly tougher than the younger children. I have found that asking them what they're looking for, like if they want anything on their own and like what that would be like, I usually get portraits solo. And once I've got like some sort of connection with teen, I'm like, all right,
teen or preteen.
Yeah. Like now you're part of this. Like this is now a group project. And like, how can we make this fun that you're like not disliking this experience? Because I hear I mean, it really can be not super fun to be in front of the camera. And especially if it's a 30 or 60-minute session of like different locations. So I get that. Yeah, do you mean in getting them to
just like engage
in it?
Yeah. It can be tricky. I'm like, just one smile or just one serious one. Can we just get one nice smile?
Be in the photo.
I feel like my kids will have on like the back of their mind always playing, can we just get one nice picture? Just one nice nice smile. You know, because they like to make faces or turn around, you know, just all the
non-serious.
They're hilarious.
Yes.
Quote unquote, hilarious. Kate, if there was like one piece of advice, one takeaway for parents who are, you know, just trying to up their picture game at home or, you know, thinking about, you know, it is time to get a family portrait or, you know, we have one coming up. Like what is that advice you would give for parents?
Yeah, so I guess if you're trying to take some photos at home sense, I would say that just giving yourself like the time to slow down and take fewer, but at the same time, I think you'll enjoy it a little bit more. And, you know, taking your time with it. And then if you do have a photo session coming up, lean on your photographer, ask for guidance, ask for full galleries of previous ones so you can get a sense of like,
what's worked?
What is work? Like, is it a bunch of like portraits in different places all standing? You know what I mean? Or are they really interactive? And what do you want? Because you're right. Like, I love an interactive session, but you might want the smiling photo of everyone, and you'll be able to see that in a gallery of what a photographer can deliver to you. And they'll be able to help you find like the perfect location for your family and your energy and your vibe.
I love it. Kate, thank you so much. Majorly pro tips. Love it. And maybe I'll try and whittle it down to 45,000 pictures after this.
Good luck.
Maybe.
Good luck.
Yeah, thanks. I think at this point, I'm just like, Apple will tell me when I've lost space or run out of space. Kate,
think of all the memories you've got there.
Exactly. Kate, thank you so much. Of course, we will have more resources on wgme.com/raisingme. Kate is so much fun, and a couple of things really stood out to me in this conversation. First, that inner voice was screaming at me, lady, clear out the pictures in your phone, for crying out loud. 46,000? That is way too much. Secondly, since talking with Kate, I do notice the glimmers much more, capturing those moments that maybe in the moment aren't that remarkable, say, but then looking back, it takes you back to the time that means more than you even realize right now. I love these shots, and I love that it has a name, Glimmers. It's nothing staged or planned, but just truly capturing a moment in time that's naturally occurring with your kids. Okay, another thing, trusting your first instinct when sorting through photos. You know when you take 10 of the same, it looks the same, right? And then you can't decide what to keep or delete. Clearly, I've got a problem with this one. But I love Kate's advice of just trusting that first instinct. And you know, when you look at a great picture of your kids and your heart skips a beat, that is the shot. All right, and then finally, just leaning into the natural light here, turning off those overheads. Did it actually over the weekend. Thought of Kate too, because I got some really great shots. Thank you so much for listening to Raising Me and to our sponsor, Maine Health. I'm Adrienne Stein. This episode is edited by Megan Littlefield. Please follow Raising Me wherever you get your podcasts and consider a positive rating and review so others can find the message as well. Wherever you are, I hope you learn something new and get to take a little time for you.